Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here, and it's Thursday the 29th of March. Thanks for watching once again. As always, the sites get free of charge by the adverts that you see around the screen here, so if you see an advert you like, click on it, go through to the advertiser. That generates revenue for us and it keeps the site free of charge as well. Okay, just thinking about the Easter weekend. I had a couple of emails in from you asking about what I thought conditions were like for the Easter weekend, and well, it looks as if we are all change. However, there's a big discrepancy between the various models at the moment. Let me just run through these for you. This is the ECMWF, valid for midnight on the 8th of April, which is just going into Easter Sunday, and it's got low pressure out towards the west here. We've got a deep trough look extending into Europe and an east-northeasterly flow that would bring rain across Ireland, western Scotland, western Wales and southwestern parts of England if that were to come true. Now just compare that with the GFS ensemble for the same time, and they're just not showing signs of that trough at all. Yes, we've got a cooler westerly flow here. This would bring rain across northern and western parts of Scotland, but generally dry down towards the south of the country. Certainly not the temperatures that we've experienced recently, and certainly not the dry conditions we've had recently, but still dry nonetheless. And then just take a look at the GEM. This is the Canadian GEM. So this is the real outlier. This is the one that is out there on its own, but you've still got to follow it because the Canadians sometimes just pick up on things before other people. Now they're showing a trough as well. Look, this deep U shape in the colours here, with low pressure there centred across the southern parts of Scotland. A real dartboard low. We really wouldn't have seen one of those for well, almost a couple of months. If that came true, I don't think it's going to. It looks a little bit too overdone to me, but the overall theme of this trough ties up with the ECMWF. So we need to watch for this risk of a trough being through the British Isles during the Easter weekend. And I think that's the way that I'm going to take the forecast, is the idea of things becoming more unsettled towards that Easter weekend period, and certainly cooler than we've seen of late. So what about the forecast over the coming days? Well, let's see how the ensemble deals with it. This is the GFS ensemble. This is valid for today at midday. Here's our area of high pressure. Now watch what happens over the coming days. The high still out to the west of us, but it is slipping slowly west and also south, and you'll notice how the westerly flow comes into northern parts of Scotland. Notice that we're just not seeing much rainfall at all. The wind's going more into a northerly direction, so that does look as if things turn cooler through the weekend and into next week, but that high trying its best to hold on. However, by the middle part of next week, or by the middle part of next week, rain is more persistent across Scotland, with a jet stream becoming established here. Bits and pieces of rain for northwest England and for Western Ireland. For many southern parts of the country though, it should be staying largely dry. As we go through into the middle of the week, there those westerlies look, bringing out breaks of rain to northern and western Scotland and the western parts of Ireland. Elsewhere though, we are generally dry, although cooler in that westerly flow. And then we get into the Easter weekend, and as we've just seen, some discrepancies between the models for the Easter weekend. The ensemble model just doesn't see that area of low pressure at all across the British Isles and tends to move the trough off towards the east. I think this is overdone a little bit. I do think that we are going to be going more unsettled into the Easter weekend. Some outbreaks of rain, perhaps breezier too. And then into the following week, well, we pick up a westerly flow looks. The GFS certainly wanting to do that, bringing out breaks of rain, particularly to western parts of the country where it could be breezy at times. Although high pressure is to the west look, and that's building in once again as we get in towards the middle part of April, which I think is probably quite an acceptable pattern for the middle part of April. Certainly it's back to nearer normal conditions. Rain across northern and western parts of the country, drier towards the east and the south. And here's how the CFS deals with it just at the moment. Let's bring up the temperature profile for one of the cities. Let's bring up Birmingham and have a look and see how the CFS deals with things. Well, dates across the bottom here. The reds are what we're looking at. These are the daily maximum temperatures. Remember, this is a very long way in advance, so things can change, but this is how it sees it. Here's the cooler period that has been consistently predicted by the CFS. If you've been watching regularly, you'll know that's happened. We see a brief increase in temperature, but it's not until, look, the end of the month before temperatures start to pick up properly once again. So it could be that this beginning and middle part of April certainly go cooler, which is, as I was predicting back right at the beginning of this month. Not quite as unsettled in the south as I expected, but if that dartboard low came off from the Canadian model, then it would be. Probably not that unsettled in the south, most of the rain staying towards the north, but certainly I think this cooler period taking us into the middle part of April. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.